gamers, today I am back with the third video in the series, how to counter JD. And I want to say, the moment the first video was released and the second one, the posts, the complaints about JD have decreased literally by a bajillion%. So we've done it. This is the third video. It is how to counter JD with Boom Civilizations. And I put 4 civs in here. I put China, Jushi's Legacy, Abbasid, and I put Malian because Malian is like a feudal aggro civ, and it's a castle rush civ because you want to cow boom and then castle rush, and then it's also like a boom civ because you're making cows, which is kind of like making villagers and getting your economy up. So I just put it here because we didn't have as many boom civs, so there it is. So first, shout out to Myriad who helped me play games against me and you know, just do 1TC aggression, so I can show you guys how to deal with it. We're not gonna go as far as talking about build orders. I'll just talk about play styles in general. And with Malian, the plan is pretty straightforward. You maybe want to play Malian a little bit more passive than you usually would. Usually with Malian, when you're cow booming, you can still go out on a map and fight and so on, but in this matchup, you want to just kind of sit in your base until you get a critical amount of javelin throwers, so you can one-shot or two-shot JD, and you just kind of want to chill and play, you know, just play very passive until that moment, and then you just kind of get out of the map and win. So what I'm going to do is a regular boom, but it's going to be slightly delayed, and you'll see what I mean. So usually when you boom with JD, with Malian, against any other civ, you want to just instantly, like now you throw down a mill, you already go prepare houses, you know, you get your wheelbarrow and you instantly make cows, sometimes even with 2 mills. But because we're playing against JD, you don't want to take any risks. You want to open up defensively, so instead of going for the second gold, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do it a bit later. So my economy will be lower initially, but later on it will be, you know, equal to what I want it to be. So right now he just aged up, so I know night is coming. I got a pretty good spawn in this one, so I'm gonna quickly wall this side. I'm getting a lot of wood, I'm getting double broadaxe, I'm getting wheelbarrow, and here's the worker split so you guys can see. Doing a little wall here for the knights. So right now all my eco is pretty protected. Like there's nothing on gold. The only place he can harass is this food, which is obviously not going to work. So I've successfully kind of blocked off anything for now. The walls do finish. I started making donzos, and I thought I'm going to be able to protect this, but actually end up losing the villager there. But even if you, let's say my second gold was like forward, like here, I would probably just stay on 1 gold. Like you don't need a second gold pit to win in this matchup. Like don't go out on the map here to build a gold and then just lose donzos and give a JD XP and stuff like that. Only move out when you are sure that you're going to be able to defend. So I did lose a villager there, which was pretty bad, but it's alright, you know. It just shows that even if you mess up and lose a villager or two, it's still okay, you know, it's not the end of the world. So I'm starting to cow boom right now, but you can see it's pretty slow. I even got horticulture before started cows. So I'm slowly cow booming, I'm producing my units, I'm starting my javelin throwers here. His archers are arriving now. So got some villagers on gold, making more archer ranges, more production. I'm gonna get specialized mining pick. There we go. And I'm just playing defensive. Like I said, I'm not trying to go out on a map. I know he's probably going to be on boar. He's on boar and deer, which is really, really good income. But I'm not trying to contest that because, yeah, maybe I can win a fight, right? But it's not about winning the fight. It's if I win the fight but barely, he still gets XP. So I just don't want to fight, basically. I want to be in the range of TC and just kind of try to defend it like that. He gets this boar. I'm making blacksmith. Still making cows, you know, not like it's 10 minutes, so usually by this time you're done cow booming. For 10 minutes you can see I only have 12 cows. I don't even have the military upgrades, and that's because, you know, I focused more on making units. I'm gonna speed up. My cow boom is now completed. I just need the cows. Trying to break the wall. Obviously I poke JD immediately. Get it to half health. Uses the heal. I lose another villager because I'm shit. I make a tower here, get some vision on the bottom side. And now if you compare armies, and mind you, he is on boar and deer, so his eco cannot get better than this. And he's also saving up to age up soon. He probably realizes he can't do damage, so he's saving up to age up. And now with jab throwers, you can kill archers so easily, forcing him to go back. I'm gonna re-wall. And once the cow boom is completed, then you just need enough resources to age up. And usually the moment you age up with Malians is when you want to attack. Like the moment you age up and you get your first upgrades. For those that don't know, Malian research their veteran upgrades or any unit upgrades faster. So the moment that finishes, you want to just go. So you can see he is still pumping. I'm aging up with Grand Fulani. As you do. And obviously, even though we're saying, or he has 2 more workers, but I have cows, even though he has the cost reduction of his building reduced, I do have more income, right? Even though his units are cheaper. So now I age up. I'm getting +2 armor, I'm getting my veteran upgrades. And now if we want to go for a fight, like all my units are good, his or not, I can just push him back. He's aging up now. And the amount of units that I have, if you think about it, so my javelins do 11 damage. His JD has 3 armor. So each javelin throw will do 8 damage. I have 26. So I'm going to be hitting for what? 204? Is that right? No, 208 per javelin throw, which is obviously a lot considering she has 225 health. So I'm so close to one-shotting her, and all you need to do in this situation is just not let her get close to the fight so she can get experience. Just focus her as much as you can, even if you can throw spears with donzos on her and just blast her. That's kind of what you want to do. So I burn down a guild hall. He tries to intercept some units. He's doing some harassment in the back. I start chasing, and you can see his whole eco is idle. Like he's just running around. It ain't working out too great. I pop her here with the javelin throwers. He buys her back. Kill more workers. I try to snipe her again, as you saw there. And then the moment she gets close, sniper. And now we're just playing French versus Malian with the units, except I have way more. So in general, this is how you want to play Malian against JD. It's very similar to normal Malian playstyle. I've heard a lot of top players say that JD counters Malians because Malian doesn't have a direct counter JD in terms of crossbows. Like you can only make Donzes or Musafari warriors. Everything else doesn't really do a lot of damage against her. But archers with poison are okay against JD. And also Donzos are pretty good as in like just auto attacking. But if she gets to level 3, that's a pretty tough fight. But early on, I think that Malian is quite good because of the javelin throwers and the ability to snipe her. So the next one I'm going to be showing you guys is going to be China versus JD. Now, I am not going to make one video for China, one video for Jushi's Legacy. They play very similar because obviously one is variant of the other. So the only advice I can give you is if you're playing Jushi's Legacy is just open Meditation Gardens into Jiangnan Tower like you normally would, and then just add barracks plus archer range, produce units out of those, and then slowly get a second TC. After that, the rest of it will be played exactly like I played it in this game. So nothing weird, nothing new. So I'm getting my village, and I'm just gonna do a standard China build order. Not a big fan of this spawn because like this side was very open, so walling this over would cost a lot. My front is open, my gold is open, my food sources are all kind of not only forward, but they're also open. I didn't like my Barbican spot either. I think maybe if I Barbican here it would be better, but I'm not sure. Maybe Barbican there would be better. And then I have berries in the back, which are, again, very open. So no easy wallings this game, is what I'm trying to say. Getting my Imperial Academy, and usually with China, what you want to do is now you go stone, you go wood, and you get a second DC. But you got to make a little bit of an adjustment. I managed to snipe this sheep right there. I'm going to do a little bit of an adjustment. I'm going to get double broad axe immediately. And I'm going to get a barracks. And I'm going to make an archer range too and start producing units. Like, you cannot go just blind second TC with no units against JD. You're going to have a rough time if you do that. So he comes here with the knight, he tries to harass, he gets the charge off. I got making Zuginu right now, I'm making a power of my gold. And in a moment, since I have a lot of wood, I mined enough or chopped enough for TC. I'm gonna go get the stone in the back. And now he's got archer, so he's being super aggressive. And you can see if I skipped the, not necessarily the barracks, but if I skip the archer range, this archer would just sit here and deny all the food. And that's kind of where the game would snowball. So, because of that, that allows me now to defend and keep up the same or similar army count. I'm getting this stone as fast as I can so I can go and make a TC. I'm making another tower. One good thing when you play Jushi's Legacy or China, the towers are very, very good and they build very, very quickly. So, because of the hand cannon upgrade, so even if the knights are trying to run by, you're going to do a lot of damage with them. So, I like just securing locations when I play those two civs. So, having a tower here, gives you a nice little defense against knights if they try to harass. I'm going to make a TC here as a place to, you know, just have an easier rally point to food, but also if he attacks into Barbican, I have another place where I can garrison my villagers. He's trying to harass, not going to work. And from here now, my plan is to just not move. Like, I'm not interested in going out on the map. I have 2 TC. All I want to do right now is just defend, get my upgrades, and mass up units. So you will see that I will have a decent amount of workers on wood. I like to keep around 5 on gold because that's going to allow you to get all your upgrades. And as you can see here, produce a Zuginu. I'm doing a little wall here. I know that his army is on this side of the map, so I'm taking that opportunity to wall off this side. I'm getting the deer in the front while I can, and then I'm going to take the food in the back. So first you want to get rid of the food in the front and then in the back because, you know, once he starts attacking here or here, that's going to be a lot harder to take. So I'm spamming Zuginu. I have 3 archer rangers, 3 barracks. I got +1/+1 on the melee and ranged armor and ranged damage. And if people are like wondering, like, why is he not attacking? He has nowhere to attack. He could have maybe went here earlier, but if he went here earlier, I would have just stayed on these berries, right? So he wouldn't have denied here anything. But the moment I see him here, I just, you know, bail out of there. I'm not gonna stay. These deer are pretty much done, so now I can go on these berries and I can go on the back berries. I'm making more houses. 5 archer ranges now, 5 barracks, and if you look at the supply is about to increase way more for me than it will for him because I have way more income, as you can see, because of the Imperial officials, and also have 30 workers more. So if he goes to attack here, this is not enough units to dive this. Like, my army is probably strong enough to kill his army at this point, but if he did dive, it obviously would be even worse. I have a tower here just for vision. He's trying to poke. He was trying to harass on the bottom side as well with knights. Did not work out. He blocks the walling here. And again, my goal is to just spam units, nothing else. Now, someone asked me during or after this game, what would I have done if he just aged up and went man-at-arms? So when you play China, or let's say I was Malian earlier. If I was Malian and he ages up and goes man-at-arms, then I just go Mustafadi warriors and javelin throwers. In this game, let's say he ages up, right? Let's say he has 7 less knights and like 9 less archers. So let's say his army is 20 archers and 10 knights and JD, and he ages up to castle. What then? Well, I have 46 Zugin and 33 Spearmen. I can go across the map and just kill him. That's one thing that China, the way we played China back in the day was like, oh no, we're dead because we didn't really spam a lot of Zugino. And then people realize once you have 50, 60, 70 Zugino, you can actually just kill men-at-arms or knights. And the armor doesn't really matter because they still do 3 damage with each shot. So if he was to age up to Castle and make men-at-arms, I would have just pushed out in his food sources while aging up myself, because I can age up with this economy really, really quickly. And then the game just continues. So rushing age ups in this kind of situation would not work out too well. And obviously earlier, you know, I've seen unit number increase over time, so I know that he was making units. And now JD is still level 2. She's not getting any value. He's gonna go for rams. And if you look, the supply is almost 200 versus 110. So Zugino can kill rams as well, which is pretty nice. So again, what I'm going to try to do is target fire the hero to prevent the XP. Here we go, he charges in. I target a hero, hero is dead. And now it's just a cleanup at this point, because if you look at the army, my army is way efficient. So, GG. Now, I did lose one game against Myriad, and I'll talk about it once I load up the next map. So I haven't been playing Abbasid too much recently, just because I've talked about this before, but in the top level, Abbasid is not played a lot because it's a lot slower civ, and top level competition is just all about aggression and being, you know, attacking and stuff like that. And Abbasid is a really good civ if you manage to boom and get out of there early, that early game. But if, you know, opponent is very aggressive towards you and maybe you get a bad spawn, it's pretty rough. So I ended up losing one game. So what I tried to do in that game is I went with military wing 2TC, and my idea was to basically kind of do like the same thing I did in China with China versus JD matchup, to just go enough archers to one-shot the hero and then fight. But what ended up happening is he made units, kind of like faked a lot of aggression, and then he aged up and I died to men-at-arms. And I was like, oh, right, that's the thing with Abbasid, you died to that. Now, I could have potentially gone for a lot of camel archers and tried to hold, but I think in the long run, that would probably not happen. So that loss was probably due to my not very good scouting, because when he had like 10 units, I had like 30, right? But they were like spearman archer. So I spent like a few minutes thinking what is the best thing to do with Abbasid against Jeanne d'Arc, and I think there's 2 ways to go about it. Regarding wings, I don't think you go eco wing at all, because there's no point in making 3-4 TCs, because you're just gonna die to man-at-arms if JD ends up castle rushing. Trade obviously is not an option, because you don't want to trade against the knight civ, you're gonna get dented. So there's only 2 options between the wings. One is military, one is culture wing. So you could do military wing into like staying in your base and trying to fight. But after I've done that one game, I realized there's no point in military wing in my opinion, because military wing is done when the opponent heavily commits into feudal and tries to like all in you and you trade for a very long time. But Jeanne d'Arc doesn't really, you don't want to fight against Jeanne d'Arc in the first place, so you don't want to trade in the first place. So I feel like military wing is kind of like a bait. Like, yeah, your units get more health, but you should not be fighting her until you have sufficient units to one-shot her. Which at that point, it doesn't matter if you have HP on, or how much is it, 15% HP on your infantry. So there's 2 ways to play Abbasid versus JD, or in my opinion, the best ways to play with Abbasid is JD. And one is culture wing into 2 town centers into fast age up, and then you go, you know, spearman, crossbow, gulam, whatever, archers. And then the second one, which Myriad actually mentioned to me in the chat, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it works with other civs. Why wouldn't it work with Abbasid? Is to just go culture wing, and just like I've done a build order guide with other civs where you rush castle. In theory, there's nothing preventing you from going on berries, gathering a lot of food, going culture wing. You leave 3-4 on gold, you build a tower, maybe even 2 towers. You gather 100 stone, you upgrade them, and then you just rush castle into knights. So you go culture wing into military wing and you get 2 camel riders. So that's also a possibility. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't be able to do that. It might seem a bit weird to do that with Abbasid, but that's just because we're not used to playing Abbasid like that, and there was never need to play Abbasid like that. But I mean, it's a completely viable thing to do, and you kind of skip that feudal age and you make knights, which are going to be a lot better against JD. So yeah. Now, this spawn is not what you want as Abbasid, and I feel like this is part of the reason why Abbasid is not played as much at the top level. And that reason is you're very spawn dependent. So, like this spawn is really bad against aggro civs. Like all my food is forward, literally in like an arc, and there's no easy wall offs to any of my food sources. Like this is probably the easiest one, but then even then this is a lot of wood, right? This is open, so my idea initially was to actually skip goals, skip wheelbarrow, and get stone and get a second town center immediately. But the timing did not work out because again, I haven't tried this. I've tried this now. The timing did not work out, so I decided, I wanted to place TC here basically, and then do a little wall here, and then get this deer too. But because the timing did not work out, I had to make a TC next to my main TC almost. Now, there is a potential where you can do this build, culture wing into 2TC, into age up, but I would need to make a barracks right now and an archer range, and then I can make a TC here, right? So you should kind of look at it like your second TC is delayed, but by building a barracks and an archer range, it allows you to get this by making few units to defend it. But if JD comes with a knight or 2, it might be pretty rough because you only have spearmen and archers. So yeah, I would probably suggest like getting a second TC as fast as possible and trying to sneak it in somewhere. Like you will see the timing, the way it works out. Let me just, okay. So right now I can make a town center, right? So if this deer were like here, then I can finish it in time before he arrives. But because the deer were forward, I knew I had no time, so I bailed on the, you can see me going for it, I'm like, that's not gonna work. Like the knight is gonna arrive and I'm gonna lose villagers. So I decided against it, but yeah. If I had more safe food spawn, I would probably go there, but this game, that was not it. So what I end up doing here is I end up doing a few walls, and my plan here was to just rush castle. So I'm getting preservation of knowledge, and now I'm going to get all eco upgrades. I'm going to start making barracks. I'm even going to make a little tower here for after, because he's going to break this through. And this game I had a lot of sheep. I think I took 12 or 13 sheep, which was really, really good for me. So it allowed me to rush castle this fast. But this is similar to some of the castle rush builds that I've done in how to counter JD. I could have probably gotten away with a similar castle rushing technique, like only going barracks, making 6-7 spearmen and a tower or 2, and then rushing castle even though I have 2 TCs, right? So something to be tested with, something to be played with, but in the 2 games that I've played, I found out this to be probably the better version of this. So I'm getting blacksmith. You can see I'm very close to the age up. I see a lot of units. I lost my scout earlier, by the way. So I see a lot of units. He's on the boar over here. And I know that he is not castle rushing like last game. He is just building up an army. So I go military wing. And now I'm preparing production. I'm getting +1 range weapon. And the problem is, if you don't have a second TC on another food source, like this deer or berries, you will run out of food. So realistically, if I had an average sheep of 10, I would be running out of food now. So this would be a lot bigger problem, which is why it's very important with Abbasid to get a second TC on another food source, so you don't run out of food. But if you did, I mean, you would probably have to just start making farms. Like, there's no other way around it. You could even make a market and buy food or something, I don't know. And now you can see I'm getting all the upgrades and we're getting double Broadaxe. Second one is making Rams. He goes for the PC. I try to target JD with the PC as much as possible. And now, because I'm not ready to fight yet, I just end up giving up this DC. I know my head already in workers, and I'm in castle, so as long as I don't die, it should be a decent position. And all my production stuff is in the back, so very, very good. Oh yeah, I went here for a bit, which kind of saved me. I got enough food to kind of sustain myself a bit longer. Now that his army is here, the Rams are slow, I just decided to go on the other side. Well, I got a Mangono, I got a little powerful vision. And now I'm feeling pretty good. I got 22 archers with composite bows. So those are gonna melt everything. His JD levels up. But this is the thing, I'm no longer in H2, I'm H3, so it is completely okay. So what you want to do right now is put like 5-6 spearmen on JD and just A-move everything else. Try to use the staggered formation so your units are spread out. And now microing archers to try to pull them back away from the hero and not get cleaved down. I target fire her. The archer is pretty good, doing a lot of damage. And yeah, right now the game is pretty much over. I would say out of all civs that I have played, Abbasid seems one of the more rough ones because I feel like you got to do a lot of things well. And in general, if you do not manage to get a second TC on another food source, you're probably going to be in a lot of trouble. But try this if you're playing Abbasid. Try this, Culture Wing, 2 town centers into Fast Castle with some spearmen. If that does not work out, then I would suggest you try 1 TC Culture Wing, where you just stay on 1 TC and you age up to Castle, and then you go into Knights, something like that. Knights into Crossbows would be so you can snipe the hero and his Knights as well. Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. Sorry that this one was a bit delayed compared to the other two, but it is finally out, and now I hope that everyone knows how to counter the all-invincible JD, the OP, broken, unbeatable hero. You guys can do it. If I can do it, so can you. YouTube gamers, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Check me out on Twitch, I'll probably live right now. Twitch gamers, let's keep going.